In this problem, we're being asked to do long division of polynomials. And this looks like it might be pretty complicated. And while there are a lot of steps, it's very similar to the long division you learned how to do with numbers when you were in elementary school. So let's just actually start with a refresher of the steps in that regular long division. Let's say you had a number like 3,610. And you wanted to divide that by 7. You'd put this little tent up here, you'd put your 7 out here, and the first step is to do division of the first little bit. So you try the 3. Can 3 be divided by 7? No, there's no 7s that go into 3. Then you move on to 36. Aha, we can definitely fit some 7s in 36. 7 times 5 is 35, so let's put a 5 up here, because we know that that'll fit. So 5 times 7 is 35. That's our next step. We multiply. Once we've multiplied, we put that down here, and then we subtract it. So 36 minus 35 is 1. And once we've subtracted, we just drop down this next value. I have a 1 here, so we're going to drop that down there. Then we start the whole process all over again. We try to divide 11 by 7. And it looks like a 7 can fit in 11, just one of them, though. So we put a 1 up here. 1 times 7 is 7. And then we subtract. 11 minus 7 is 4. And then we drop down the next value. This 0 comes down here. We have 40. And then we go back and start the process again. So 40 divided by 7, I think we can do 35 again. So that's 5. 5 times 7 is 35. We've multiplied. Now we subtract that. We get 5. And at this point, there are no 7s that go into 5. I've got no other numbers to drag down, so this is our remainder. So our answer here is going to be 515 with a remainder of 5. We're going to follow these same steps for this polynomial long division. Let's go ahead and set it up just like that. We've got x squared minus x minus 15. And what you'll notice here is that we've got our powers of x arranged from highest to lowest, and there's no missing power. So this is the second power, this is the first power, this is just our number. That's what you need to have to make this kind of division work. So if you don't have it in descending order, you got to rearrange it. If you're missing a power, you got to put in a placeholder. Like if the x squared was missing, but you had an x cubed, you'd put it in a 0 x squared. Luckily for us in this problem, it's all arranged for us correctly, so we don't have to worry about that. And we'll put this guy out here. So this is x squared minus x minus 15 divided by x plus 4. The first step is to divide. And what we do here is we look at the leading terms. And we ask ourselves, what is x squared divided by x? Well, that would be x. So we put an x up here. And then we go into second step, multiply. So x times x plus 4. Well, x times x is x squared. And x times 4 is 4x. Now, we have to be really careful with our subtraction step. This whole thing gets subtracted. So I'm going to put parentheses around that to remind myself. What that means is x squared minus x squared is the first part of this. Well, that's 0. That's a good sign. That's what we want. We want this leading term to disappear. And then we have a negative x minus 4x. That's going to be a negative 5x. I think this is the spot in polynomial division where people get confused the most. It's dealing with these signs and the subtraction. But we've done our first 3 steps. We subtracted there. Now we need to drop down the next value. So this negative 15 comes down. Now we start the process all over again. We have a negative 5x for our leading term. So we ask ourselves, what's negative 5x divided by x? Well, that's negative 5. So I'm going to put a negative 5 up here. And then we're going to do the multiplication. So negative 5 times x is negative 5x. And negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. So we've done our multiplication. Now we need to subtract this whole thing. And be careful about these signs. So this is negative 5x minus a negative 5x. When you minus a negative, it's like adding it. So that's negative 5x plus 5x. It comes out to 0. That's what we expected. Good, we're on the right track. Let's be really careful with the signs here. We have negative 15 minus a negative 20. Minus a negative is like plus, so this is like negative 15 plus 20. So it's going to be a positive 5. Now, we're in that same spot. We ended up with this leftover 5 here. There's nothing else to pull down. We can't really divide 5 by x plus 4 in any meaningful way. So our answer here is this guy, x minus 5. And our remainder is 5. Sometimes people will write this with the remainder as a quotient. So you might see this as x minus 5 plus x plus 4 over, 5 over x plus 4. So that's another way to write the remainder. Instead of just writing the remainder as 5, you'd put it over the original thing that you were dividing by. So you might see the answer in one of these two ways. But that is polynomial long division.